I'm not Kurt Loder, but this is A Century of Cinema, a presentation we offer at the Historic Plaza Theatre on the first and third Wednesdays of each month, except December. This time, we delve into the 69-year career of a still working 93-year-old with 41 Academy Award nominations and 13 wins, 4 Golden Globe wins, an American Film Institute Lifetime Award, 2 terms as Mayor of Carmel, California, who was awarded 3 college and university honorary degrees, and no high school diploma. Clint and formal education didn't get along. He was held back in middle school, attended high school, but was asked to leave for writing an obscene suggestion to a school official on the athletic field scoreboard and burning an effigy on the school lawn. Then there's Clint's military career during the Korean War. For the longest time, Clint implied he was involved in this conflict. Not so much. Clint spent his stint in the Army as a lifeguard at Fort Ord in Northern California. The closest Clint came to danger was after a tryst with his commanding officer's daughter returning on a Douglas bomber that ran out of gas and ditched 2 miles offshore. He and the pilot used a life raft to swim to shore. Come to think of it, he chose the perfect profession because film is the ultimate illusion. Eastwood began his acting career with Universal in April 1954 at $100 per week. He lasted a year before being released for being too stiff and delivering his lines through clenched teeth, a trait he still exhibits. For the next 3 years, Eastwood struggled, appearing here and there in movies and TV, often uncredited. In 1958, he was cast as Rowdy Yates in the hour-long series Rawhide. Eastwood was nearly 30. The series ran from 1959 to 1965, filmed mostly in Arizona, often working 6 days a week, 12 hours per day. At the start, Eastwood earned $750 per week. On cancellation, he received a severance of $119,000. Real stardom was coming. In 1963, Rawhide star Eric Fleming had rejected an offer to star in an Italian-made Western called Fistful of Dollars, to be filmed in a remote region of Spain by relatively unknown director Sergio Leone. Eastwood signed on to do the movie for $15,000 in wages for 11 weeks of work, with a bonus of a Mercedes-Benz upon completion. Eastwood later stated he was tired of playing a character who kissed old ladies and dogs. He wanted to be an anti-hero. The movie character Man with No Name was born. Director Leone spoke no English. Eastwood didn't speak Italian. The two communicated using a Polish interpreter. Eastwood was a non-smoker, but Leone insisted he smoked cigars as part of the character. Fistful of Dollars made Eastwood a star in Italy and ushered in the era of spaghetti westerns, attracting other American stars like Lee Van Cleef, Charles Bronson, and even Henry Fonda. The Sergio Leone films were actually first released in Japan and called macaroni westerns. The American media, not wanting to copy Japan, came up with the spaghetti moniker. Eastwood paired with Leone twice more in For a Few Dollars More and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. In America, United Artists paid $900,000 for the trilogy. These films were released in 1967 on January 18th, May 10th, and December 29th. All three were successful, making Eastwood a star in America. The American box office on the trilogy was $55 million. The public loved the films. The critics hated them, and thus became a decades-long battle by Eastwood to gain film critics' respect. By 1968, Eastwood ranked number 5 at the American box office. Studios came calling. First up was Hang 'em High, earning Eastwood $400,000 and 25% of the net box office. This film had the biggest box office opening in the history of films at that time in America.
You're under arrest, Reno. And don't go for that gun, Reno. I need you alive.
Eastwood used his earnings to create Malpaso Productions, named after a creek on his property in Monterey County, California. The film Coogan's Bluff earned Eastwood a salary of $1 million from Universal, who in 1955 had bid him adieu. This brought Eastwood an introduction to director Don Siegel. Siegel was a huge influence on Eastwood as a director. Siegel had a long, illustrious career in Hollywood, starting with Casablanca in 1942. He also directed John Wayne's final film, The Shootist, in 1976. In 1968, Eastwood accepted $750,000 to work with Richard Burton on the film Where Eagles Dare. Even the hugely popular TV series Batman came calling. Eastwood was cast as Two-Face, but the series was canceled before filming began. In 1969, Eastwood starred in the only musical of his career, Paint Your Wagon, with Lee Marvin and Gene Seberg. The budget eventually exceeded $20 million, a huge sum in those days. It was not a critical or commercial success, but it was nominated for a Golden Globe as Best Motion Picture as a musical or comedy. I thought it was funny, especially Lee Marvin. Eastwood finally made his first film with Don Siegel in 1970. Two Mules for Sister Sarah paired Eastwood with Shirley MacLaine.
Sarita, baby! You're safe! They didn't get you! They didn't get my favorite girl!
Sister Sarah, this here's a cat house.
Oh, no, Hogan. This is no cat house. This is the best whorehouse in town.
About this time, Eastwood achieved his goal of artistic control and a chance at directing. The film was Play Misty for Me with Jessica Walter. Music and film critics loved the film and praised Eastwood's skill as a director.
Hi. Cold night, huh?
Yeah.
But you got here anyway. Stout fella.
Look, Evelyn, there's something we're gonna have to get straight.
It's amazing what a man will go through for a hot pastrami sandwich.
Now, look.
Wait a minute. You haven't told me how nice I look.
Now, you look fine.
The lady at the store guaranteed it, but...
Now, listen, can we talk?
Wait. first.
By now, all of Eastwood's films are being produced by Malpaso Productions. Eastwood embraced music throughout his career. In 1959, Eastwood released Cowboy Favorites on the Cameo label as a singer. It was a bust. In 1988, he directed the film Bird about saxophonist Charlie Parker. Eastwood wrote the scores for 10 films, including Mystic River, which earned him an Oscars nod. In 2011, he was scheduled to direct Beyoncé in A Star is Born remake. She got pregnant. He shelved that and later directed Jersey Boys. While directing American Sniper, Bradley Cooper expressed interest in directing. In 2017, Eastwood gave Cooper his directing break on A Star is Born, starring Lady Gaga. The best, though, is in Eastwood's past. It's Don Siegel again, and a friendship relationship that lasted 10 years, producing 5 films.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Eastwood and Siegel unveiled Dirty Harry in 1971, and in the process invent the whole loose cop film genre. Released in December 1971, Dirty Harry earned $22 million in the U.S. and Canada, and sent sales of 44 Magnum revolvers through the roof. In 1972 and 1973, Eastwood was the #1 star at the box office. Eastwood made 5 Dirty Harry films between 71 and 88. When Sean Connery retired a second time as James Bond, 2 Americans were offered the role, Eastwood and Burt Reynolds. Both, of course, turned down the offer, stating Bond should always be an English actor. In the 1970s and 80s, Eastwood undertook a variety of films beyond Dirty Harry. We have High Plains Drifter, Pale Rider, and the outlaw Josie Wales. In 1978, Eastwood starred opposite an orangutan in Every Which Way But Loose. It is still his highest grossing acting film of all time and spawned a sequel, 1980's Any Which Way You Can.
Right turn, Clyde. Right turn, Clyde.
Right turn, Clyde.
Onward.
In 1992, Eastwood finally won his Oscar for director and Best Picture with Unforgiven. Gene Hackman also took home an Oscar for supporting actor. On a budget of under $15 million, this picture grossed over $159 million. His second director's Oscar was 2004's $1 Million Baby. He is one of only 3 living directors to earn 2 Oscars as Best Director. Eastwood is one of only 2 people to have been nominated for Best Actor and Best Director for the same film. The other, Warren Beatty. Eastwood has appeared in over 60 films and directed over 30, including 2014's American Sniper, which did $594 million at the box office. His most recent film, Cry Macho. The man is 93 years old. His ancestor, William Bradford, was a passenger on the Mayflower. Yep, 12th generation in North America. I'd like to revisit the original collaboration of director Don Siegel and Eastwood with Dirty Harry from 1971. A husband and wife team wrote the original screenplay with director Callahan, based in New York City. The final rewrite had Callahan located in San Francisco, and the film's Scorpio Killer is based loosely on the real-life Zodiac serial killer who terrorized the Bay Area for years. I love Hollywood's tongue-in-cheek. Scorpio Killer, actual Zodiac Killer. Fun stuff. The budget for Dirty Harry was $4 million, and the box office topped $36 million. For the longest time, Frank Sinatra was slated to be Dirty Harry. When Frank stepped away, the role was offered to John Wayne and Steve McQueen. McQueen had just done Bullet and passed. Wayne eventually did his turn as a modern-day cop in 1975's Brannigan. Other actors offered the role included Robert Mitchum and Burt Lancaster. Paul Newman suggested Eastwood. Bingo. Incidentally, future TV2 newsman Art Brown appears early in the film in the middle of the street reporting as a newsman. Do you feel lucky? Be sure to visit the gorgeously restored Plaza Theatre and our 38-foot wide movie screen, 4K laser projection, and a world-class surround sound system. Visit myplazatheater.com for showtimes and events. The historic Plaza Theatre is located in beautiful downtown Miamisburg with unlimited free parking, shops to browse, and fabulous nearby dining options. Hope to see you at the Plaza, and I'll see you here next time.